All right, what's going on, guys? I have an announcement to make. So I have uploaded all of my videos, except for like the first two that I did. I've uploaded all the videos that I've done here in my car to YouTube, as well as back when I was in Utah, I owned a training facility, and I did a couple videos when I first started the gym, kind of up at the front, and I would just talk into the camera, very similar to what I'm doing here. And then there was another phase of videos that I did in the back of the gym at my desk with one of my trainers there. His name was Adam. We had a little bit of a collaboration that we were working on. I think I uploaded a supplement review as well. So go and check that out. A lot of the content is, I don't want to say it's similar, it's all around fitness. I have, a little bit more knowledge now than I did back then, but all of it is still very applicable and very relevant, and I think you'd benefit very greatly. If you enjoy these types of videos, I think going back and watching those that are on YouTube would be a great idea as well. And the link for it is in my Instagram bio. I believe the link works. I'm not a tech guy, so I'm just kind of hoping that I set it all up the way that it should be. And then there on my YouTube videos, it has all the links to, my Instagram, my Facebook, my YouTube, all my LinkedIn, all that good stuff. So go ahead and check that out, and that'll be, I think, a good resource for you. I've uploaded all these videos as well as the videos from the gym. So I have a question here that my buddy asked me. He's been watching these videos, and he's been going back to the gym, but he said that he has experienced some injuries lately in the past, and it's caused him to kind of get off his groove, his usual working out and exercising and everything like that. And so he's gained a little bit of weight, and so he has two questions. And one is, what foods would I recommend to stay away from or recommend eating, to help with weight loss and general health? And the other one is, what should he do in terms of working out as he's kind of starting back into it? So to answer your first question, without tracking your macros and really getting too specific in that way, which I think is the way to see the most progress the quickest, is to track your proteins, fats, and carbs. Track everything that you're consuming, your expenditure, and kind of trying to dial that in. But if you're just kind of going for general health and you're wanting to lose weight along with it, then a great place to start is to I'm going to give you a couple of rules that you should try to live by that are going to help you out. Oh, hey Rach, how you doing? One thing is to cut out liquid calories. So something that people don't think about is they think, okay, I'm drinking orange juice or apple juice, it's going to be healthy for me and it's better than soda. And in a way it is better than soda because you're not consuming the carbon dioxide that gives the little bubbles and everything like that. So in that way it's healthy. But if you just comparing calories and sugar to sugar, orange juice or apple juice can be just as unhealthy as consuming soda. So that's one thing. Cut out any liquid calories except maybe protein in your water. I think that's okay. Or almond milk, that sort of thing. So cut out liquid calories. The second thing is only eat whole foods. And I'm not super like granola where it has to be organic and no GMO and all this raised on a farm where there are no pesticides. I'm not that extreme, but if it has more, this is just a general rule if you're trying to be healthy and lose weight, if it has more than like maybe 2 ingredients, or if it has a food label, that might not be the best thing for you. We have a question here from Rachel, and she asks, what about Mio that is 0 calories? So if you're going off of just calories itself, obviously that's going to be better than consuming a Coke that maybe has 68 grams of, I think vanilla Coke has 70 grams of sugar, 70 grams of carbs. It's the highest sugar content soda, Coke, vanilla Coke. So yes, it's going to be better for you in overall calorie consumption. And that's what I would recommend. versus having something that has sugar that's going to spike your insulin and cause, weight retention. So yes, in that respect, it's definitely better, but you are still getting, the sucralose, but I personally don't have an issue with that. Some people do. I don't really care. To give you some context, sucralose, your body actually doesn't digest it. Aspartame has been known to cause cancer, and so I would stay away from things that have aspartame in it, like Diet Coke. But anything that uses sucralose, I personally am okay with, because sucralose is 1,000 times more potent than table sugar, but your body actually doesn't, when it digests it, it actually doesn't absorb it. You just pee it out. So it's a little background on sucralose. Anyway, so don't consume any liquid calories. Try to consume whole foods, and with those whole foods, you want to focus on lean meats, whole grains, good fatty acids such as avocados, avocado oil, nuts, seeds, those sort of things that are considered a fat, but they're good fats for you. The carbs that you consume, should be whole grains or brown or white rice. I personally like white rice. It tastes a lot better, and if your overall calories is sufficient, that's going to be the biggest thing for you. Sweet potatoes are really good. So focus on whole foods and good quality whole foods. I would say limit your dairy consumption, only because they tend to have a higher fat content. Cheese sticks, mozzarella cheese is a little bit lower. It's a good protein to fat ratio, but cheddar cheese or milk can be higher in fat. And there's some studies and research shows that consuming dairy can help or can increase estrogen production and things like that, just because of the hormones that they use. So that's something to look into. I personally enjoy a good almond milk. It's lower in overall calories, as well as it doesn't upset my stomach as much. So you could switch that in for your dairy products. Greek yogurt is okay, just the way that they produce it. It tends to be a little bit lower in fat and higher in proteins. And so, to reiterate, get rid of liquid calories, good whole foods, focus on lean meats, good protein sources, good carbs, good fats, and then foods to kind of stay away from are obviously higher fatty cuts of meats. I would say stay away from bananas, because they are very, very calorie and sugar dense. I love them. They're good in potassium, but just for now, cut those out a little bit. If you're going to consume fruits, I would say consume vegetables more often. If you're going to consume fruits, try to consume fruits that are higher in water content, like melons, oranges. Berries are really good at they're high in antioxidants. And I would say try to not eat past 8 o'clock. And I'm not a believer that stopping at 8 allows for further digestion. I firmly believe that it's overall calorie intake. However, if you shorten your window, and that's one of the big things with intermittent fasting, why it's so effective, you're only eating between 1 and 8 p.m. If you shorten the window of your calorie consumption, you're not going to be eating as much, and the meals that you do eat will feel more satisfying because they're bigger, and you can consume more calories in that way. And those are some big things to, and then drink tons of water. That's huge. So I hope that answers your questions in terms of what foods to consume and what foods to stay away from. Now, to answer the question of what workouts should you be doing, I think if you're just barely starting out, if you're going from zero, you haven't exercised in a few months, and you have some injuries that are causing you some grief, I would say start with just getting to the gym or doing something active 3 times a week. What I see happening a lot is that people get super gung-ho, they get motivated, And I love being motivated. I listen to a lot of motivational speakers, and I try to get pumped for my day. However, if you have motivation, but you don't have the habits to carry you through that motivation, because motivation stops after like, you know, a couple hours, or if that, you know, a few days, you're motivated for something, but then you stop. You have to develop the habits that are going to keep you going while you're motivated. So while you're in this sense of, okay, I have this goal and I want to achieve it, you need to develop habits in place to accomplish your goal. So I would say get to the gym or do something physically active 3 times in this next week. While you're at the gym, I would say go for a brisk jog and then do some corrective stretching. Most Americans work in a sitting position, and so I'm going to give you a few muscles to stretch because everybody's muscles are tight in this way. So I would say stretch your pecs because we sit at a desk and we're hunched over. Stretch your hip flexors. That's the muscle that brings your leg up. And you can YouTube. I have a movement library and a mobility series coming out that I'm really excited about. So I mean, but that's in a little bit of time. I don't have a whole lot of time to develop content as of right now, but I'm working on it. So stretch your pecs, stretch your hip flexors, stretch your hamstrings, stretch your calves, and stretch what's called the piriformis. The piriformis muscle. It's a muscle deep within your glutes. So I would say go for a brisk jog and then stretch those muscles 3 times in this next week while you're dialing in your diet. Then the next week, do the exact same thing. So I'm wanting you to start a little bit slower, get your diet in check, and build it up. Once you get to that point where you've stretched out a decent bit, you have done a little bit of cardio, so your body is used to physical movement, you're fueling it with good proteins, fats, and carbs, then I would start into a strength training regimen. I do believe that starting on a 5x5 program is a great way to start. You'll develop a basis of strength, and then you'll kind of move up into it. Oh, bummer, there's a wreck. There's a big wreck. So start with maybe a 5x5. And honestly, when you're first starting out, I wouldn't start with the typical bro split, which is legs, biceps, or legs, back and bis, chest and tris and shoulders, because your body's not used to that type of volume for each specific muscle group. So when you're first starting out, I would do 3 or 4 days a week. If you're doing 3 days, I would do full bodies on all 3 of those days. So start with having one day be a push day. So you're gonna use your chest, your triceps, your shoulders, and squats, or a knee dominant. The next day, or 2 days later if you take a rest day, that's when you're gonna do your pulling motions. You're gonna do your RDLs, your Romanian deadlifts. You're gonna do your vertical pulls, your horizontal pulls, so your lat pull downs, your rows, your biceps, your calves if you want to. And do that for a while. You could even do 5 sets of 5 and using a full body in one day. So doing chest, back, and legs all on the same day, 5 sets of 5, then taking a rest, and doing that the next day, then taking a rest. The key, and I hope what you're catching here, is that you don't want to do too much too fast, because you're gonna be sore, you're gonna be physically burnt out, and you're gonna be mentally burnt out. And then you're gonna get into this cycle of, oh, well, last time I tried to work out, it didn't go so well, so now I'm not even gonna try. So I think if you start slow and you be consistent, you dial in your diet, you start with cardio and corrective stretching until you're with it. And once you do that for 2 weeks, you start a strength training regimen that is 5 sets of 5, starting with maybe whole body workouts or full body workouts. Then maybe specify pushing and pulling motions. And then at that point, you should have a solid base under you. Then you can start dipping into different exercise or different workout splits, maybe the typical bro split, or different body part splits that there's thousands of them out there. I'm also going to be, I'm working on a book that will have a bunch of different workout splits and workouts already put in there, as well as, you know, the differences, a bunch of different diets, and kind of, it's, I don't know, I don't have a name for it yet, but it's really just going to be like fitness 101 with just a ton of applicable information that you can take right then and apply it, such as rest intervals and tempo and sets and reps and the purposes behind them, and different diets, and I'm trying to think, muscle imbalances, things that are just super, super applicable. But I don't waste your time in saying, you know, this one time I had a client who did this, that, and the other, and it turns out to be this 400-page book. The book's going to be like 40 pages, and half of that is going to be different workout schemes and things like that. So I'm really excited about that. I'm excited about the fact that all my videos are now on YouTube, so you can go ahead and check that out. The link in my bio will take you to my YouTube videos. If it doesn't work, somebody DM me, because I'm not super well versed on that. I'm getting a little bit better as time goes on, as I do more with it. But yeah, thank you so much for the question. I hope that I answered it to your liking, and I appreciate it. I love making these videos. I love sharing all the information that I've gathered, both from, you know, from school. I do have a degree in exercise and wellness from BYU. I have a couple of different certifications. I've been a strength and conditioning coach at the university level. I've done thousands of hours of kind of my own research and my own theories and philosophies, and so I love being able to share that. But it takes people asking questions so that I'm sharing applicable information that people actually care about. So, but yeah, I appreciate it, and I will check you guys next time. Thanks.